Hey, happy Tuesday. Happy book review day. Today's book is an audiobook, so I'll try to share as best I can. Becoming Batman, The Possibility of a Superhero by E. Paul Zehr. And this is a book, the author is a scientist in kinesiology and, oh crap, I can't remember the other one. Anyway, dual purpose and basically physicality and the way the body works. And what they do is they look at Batman and they do dig into the comics and films and TV series, but mainly comic books. They look at different moments in the comic books, and the basic thrust is, could an average person become Batman? And then essentially what that requires in order to do that. And so each of the chapters is one aspect of being Batman. So there is the genetic component. What kind of genetics would Batman need in order to be this kind of person? And so one of the things that Zehr does is they create a identical twin who didn't have the training. So there's I think it's Bob or Robert Wayne instead of Bruce Wayne, and so he pits the two of them together to kind of give a point of comparison, because you have the basic genetics, but then after that, then there's training, and then diet, and kind of the impact that being awake and active at night would have on your sleep routine and your mental health. What kind of actual martial arts would Batman likely be trained in? I think in the book, in the comics, it says 127 kinds. And basically he says, like, there's no need for that. In fact, it would probably muddy the waters too much to be trained in all of those. And so he makes a couple suggestions of which ones, and talks about, like the damage that could be done, with repeated blows, and, whether you could actually be the Cape Crusader and stick to your guns of no guns and no killing, and, what kind of harm non-deadly force does to people as well. And so there's lots of interesting conversations in there, and it is fun. I mean, he really does pick, it's not the obvious comics that he chooses. And so, it's fun to hear a little bit about the story that was happening, and then the scenario that he breaks out, and how he applies science to it, and whether or not it is something that the average person could do, assuming that they had unlimited time and funds as well. But anyway, Becoming Batman, E. Paul Zehr. What are you reading?